Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Happy Friday. Oh, happy Friday. Another week is almost not upon us, it's almost left us. And obviously into the weekend. Perth Glory in Australia, mate. Why do I sound Italian when I say that? Yeah, good day, mate. We got a Perth Glory tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, UK time. Keep an eye on the channel. We have the preview. And we may even have a little watch along as well. And then obviously we play Spurs next week. So I think it's always bizarre when you play like your team in your league, but in another country. Because I know like Leeds, obviously I suppose Leeds got relegated, but when it was like Man United, Leeds in America, whatever, it's just weird, isn't it? It is a bit weird. Anyway, Hammer's headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. Check them out. Now with the impending finale to the saga that is Declan Rice, it seems the last 24 hours there has been the battle for the midfield spot has heated up. You didn't think I got an A star at GCSE English, did you? Has heated up with all of, I'd say, our 5 main midfield targets, with news progressing on all of them. Obviously, reports from journalists all over the place, but it does seem that things are hotting up a bit, which does assume that the saga is about to end with Mr. Rice. And I mean, David Moyes in his press conference yesterday basically said that it was hindering any progress, the Declan Rice deal, in terms of actual development of the squad for the next season. But anyway, let's take you not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but cinco stories today, all about that same bloody position. Let's start with Scott McTominay. Now, apparently, West Ham are reportedly stepping up our interest in Scott McTominay, according to The Independent. We have a strong interest in the Scottish international. And with the Rice deal going through, Moyes will allegedly speed up his attempts to bring 26-year-old into the London Stadium from Old Trafford. The Independent reckons the Hammers will intensify their interest once the Declan Rice deal goes through. I think he's a good option. I generally think he's a good option. He's strong in the tackle. He's quicker on the ground. He's got lots of energy, solid passer. And a knack of scoring goals. When he started off his career, he was a forward. So, he still has that sort of instinctiveness. So it's a real bonus for a defensive midfielder in terms of he can, if the shot's there for you, he can take it. I think he could be one of the perfect signings for West Ham, in all honesty. It just a case of whether Ten Hag wants it. Well, I suppose if they're looking at buying Andre Onana, the goalkeeper, and they've already spent money on Mason Mount. So if they want to reinvest, they have to sell, and maybe McTominay could be one of those people that they sell. He's 26, is a great age, and I think him alongside maybe another one of these 5 potentially would be good business. Good business for West Ham. So we'll see. No reported bids have been made, but apparently interest will intensify with the Rice deal have gone through. Let's talk about one of those others I think are really good in terms of AMRABATs. Now, according to the football journalist Enzo Bucciano, great name, via Fiorentina News, West Ham have apparently lodged a £30 million bid for the Moroccan international, and Moyes has obviously identified him as a replacement to Declan Rice. Amrabat's, obviously they're looking for replacements. Amrabat is certainly, an elite central midfield replacement, in all honesty. And we saw how good he was in the Europa Conference League final. He was man of the match, in my opinion. I think he played Declan Rice off the park, to be perfectly frank. It doesn't happen that very often that Rice gets overlooked in midfield, but I thought Amrabat was brilliant, and really good. They reckon, as I said, it's a £30 million bid, and if successful, he would actually be our 5th most expensive signing of all time. However, according to the same article, two things. Fiorentina won about close to 40 million, maybe 43 million pounds for him. That's according to Football Italia. And he's not too keen about joining the Hammers. for some reason. Maybe, I mean, I know Man United were looking at him as an option. Maybe we get McTominay and Amrabat goes to Man United. But actually, I really like Amrabat. I think he's a really good player, and he's that level, that sort of elite level that would have some chance of replacing Declan Rice. I still think him as if I mean, personally, I would get him to Suchek as well because he's coming to the end of his contracts if we can sell him. And I think someone like Amrabat, an elite level defensive midfielder with maybe McTominay, just in terms of giving him a bit more license to go forward, plus Paqueta there as well. I'll tell you what, I think the possibility of us becoming a better team, not a better, with Declan Rice not in the side, could be there. Definitely could be there. There is life after Rice. That's for sure. In terms of another midfield we've been linked with heavily, James Ward-Prowse. According to the Daily Mail, apparently we are readying a bid. Now, we were heard, they said beginning of the week we were going to lowball a 20 million, but apparently we're readying a 25 million pound bid for the Southampton midfielder. He's apparently one of the top targets as well, but Saints want top dollar to consider selling him, despite their obviously championship plight. To be honest, we're all surprised he's still there, to be honest, at Southampton, despite the relegation. And also, despite the fact that he's a one-man club as well, so there's been opportunities for him to leave, but he's still there, despite the fact that obviously they've been relegated. The chances are he will move on, mainly because of his wages. Apparently it's 100 grand a week he's on. So that's, and I don't think he's got a relegation clause in his contract, I believe. So obviously very technically gifted player. He wouldn't have that energy and drive maybe that someone like a Amrabat would have, but maybe an Amrabat alongside a JWP potentially, or maybe, it could be an interesting one. But again, I think by the sounds of it, we've got half a dozen. I mean, we're going to go through. We've got two more. We're going to go through in terms of our key targets. We haven't even covered Alex Scott, but I think Alex Scott is a different player in terms of a different position. Really, I think he's a bit more advanced. Maybe you could drop back Lucas Paqueta into that sort of 6/8 role. So we'll see. Anyway, let's talk about who's next. The latest with Zakaria, Dennis Zakaria, according to, where is it? According to Gianluca Di Marzio, the respected Italian journalist, West Ham are progressing in talks to sign Dennis Zakaria from Juventus, and apparently we tabled an 11.1 million bid. Such a strange number. So obviously it's probably about 13 million euro or 12 million euro, and that's the conversion rate. The Daily Mail reported a couple of days ago that we were still some way to an agreement with Juventus to sign him. But according to Di Marzio on his website, that we've been progressing in small steps to secure their newest signing of the summer. It remains to be seen whether Juventus will accept the bid, and the Hammers may well have to come back in for some more money. But all signs certainly pointing towards some sort of agreement being reached between the two parties in the coming days. We know that we not even any of them are going to go through in terms of any of the players we linked and we've spoken about today. I mean, particularly the Swiss international isn't going to fill the Rice-shaped hole by himself, but arguably represents an upgrade to maybe a Thomas Souček, and with one more, it's to me there's going to be there'll be two midfielders coming in, not just one, in my opinion, but we don't know. But if David Moyes can return, the former on loan Chelsea star to the kind of time performances he displayed in the Bundesliga when he was playing at Borussia Mönchengladbach, which caught the eye of Tim Steindl, our current technical director, then that's great. It means Zakaria isn't considered or shouldn't be considered, sort of an out-and-out defensive midfielder. He can play that role. He can play the box-to-box role as well, and can wreak havoc off the ball and on the ball. Particularly, in the Bundesliga, he'd held his own more than enough, and obviously secured a free transfer to Juventus because of his performances. And obviously, apart from an injury, the injury which meant his Chelsea sort of loan spell was a little bit curtailed. He missed 3 or 4 games through injury. He still played well when he started off at the Chelsea. My friend, he's a Chelsea fan, was really raving about him. Really, so let's see. Let's see what happens with that one. And lastly, one that went quiet, but apparently it's come back, is Eden Alvarez. Apparently West Ham have contacted, this is according to The Athletic, and today, contacted Ajax to express their interest in signing Edson Alvarez in the summer transfer window. An offer has yet to be made, but it's expected to follow, with the Dutch club seeking a fee of around 35 to 40 million pounds for the 25-year-old. He was heavily linked to a move to Borussia Dortmund, who themselves were looking for a central midfielder to replace their outgoing English international, that being Jude Bellingham, to Real Madrid. But by all accounts, he was priced out of a move to Dortmund, and which is surprising because they've got £100 million in the bank as well. But maybe obviously they're a little bit tighter for cash. Maybe, I don't know. Alvarez himself moved to Europe in 2019, joining Ajax on a 5-year deal from Club America. He actually signed a fresh contract 2021, which expires the summer 2025. And he's been a constant presence in the Ajax side last season, 44 appearances in all competitions, the majority of them from a defensive midfielder, but also he can operate as a centre-back at times, something he's done throughout his career. So again, that type of adaptability is very useful for Moyes. He likes those types of players. We know that. He's also featured twice for Mexico during their rather disappointing World Cup outing campaign, starting the group stage draws against Poland, as well as a victory over Saudi Arabia, but remaining on the bench for the defeat by Argentina. So yeah, all five of those, of our midfield battle targets have had some update in the last 24 hours, and no doubt that was going to intensify over the from sort of today onwards. It needs to fucking intensify, please. And keep an eye on the channel. Any of the latest news, any developments, we'll bring to you as soon as possible. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.